want to do today is practical. And this idea of having something on the board when you walk in the room is like such a basic, important practice we all have to do. To do this kind of thing requires being really well organized. And a big mistake I've seen a lot of teachers make is they kind of walk in thinking, okay, let me just figure out what I'm going to do as I do it, you know, or they thought about it 5 minutes before they walked in. That's not our best practice. There's 3 things that we have to know as teachers, and we have to do as teachers, we have to accomplish as teachers. The minute your students walk in the room, the kids walk in the door that first day, and they are immediately judging us as teachers. And it's important that we set up our classroom before they come in. That's why if your first period, you can do this. If you're coming in a classroom as a second period teacher or third period teacher, it's not so easy. I stand right here, and every single student who walks in, I don't know them yet, and they don't know me. This is their first encounter with me. I have my roll grade book in front of me, and I say, what's your name? Shmuel Schwartz. Shmuel, Shalom Aleichem. I shake his hand. Glad to meet you. You're at seat 4B. Please take your seat. So what did I just give him just then? I showed him that I care about him. I said his name. I shook his hand. I smiled at him. So that means I've taken the time before the first day of school to make a seating chart. I've just drawn out seats on the board when they come in. If they want to know, well, if I tell them their seat is 4B, so all I've done on the board when I come in, I'll put seats, and I'll put teacher, and I'll go like this. I'll go, you know, A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, something like that, a grid, and I'll let them use their intelligence to figure out if I told them they're in 4B, where that is. I taught in the Baltimore County Public Schools once, and I had a mentor teacher who strongly advised me to use these, and I did not listen to her, and I regretted it. Later, I started doing it. And when I taught 10th grade science, I did it. These are 50 cents right now at the Family Dollar. I dare say if you go to your administrator and say, I'd like to buy a set of composition books for my classroom, 50 cents each, will you reimburse me? They'll say yes. I can't, they're not going to do it for you. I recommend you do it. Here's why. Once they are doing that, once I've explained that to them, I'm immediately walking the classroom and praising them for doing it, because it takes that. So you have to, on the ball, getting on the ball. Larry's so on the ball. I'm so proud of you, Larry. I asked you to do something, I expect you to do it. Right? And how do I expect you to do it? You're a goofy teenager, right? Or preteen. So I help you by walking over here and saying, we having a problem? You know, and okay, let's get it fixed. Okay, thank you, right? I don't want to be overcritical, and certainly, God forbid, never criticize a student in front of any of his peers. Be very, very much avoid that's a negative that will harm your relationship with him, won't help you. Don't yell at them in front of anybody. If you have to, you take them into the hallway. Sometimes I'll do this, and I'll have them stand right there so I can kind of keep an eye on the class and say, you know, we have a problem here. Can you fix it? Do you need to take a break? Always positive. You know, if somebody's negative, I instead of saying you're off task, say, how can we get you on task? It's just a way of phrasing it, you know, that shows that I care about you. I'm your shepherd, I'm your coach, I'm your teacher. I'm not here to be harsh. I'm here to help you, but I do have expectations. I will never at all hesitate to ask students to move seats. If I see that this is not working, I just move them, you know. If a student's in the back and can't focus, I'll find a seat for him up front right away, you know, and just ask him to move. And that's not picking on him. It's just, I need you to move up here, please. Yeah, that's all. It's very, and if you're projecting the right tone of caring and professionalism, they're gonna do it. They might be reluctant. They might not love it, but they'll do it. My line is that so I was teaching environmental science, or if I was teaching physics or any science, I would do this. My line is, on your transcript, in your class list, this says physics, this says STEM, this says environmental science. But when I'm teaching you, I'm actually teaching you Ma Rabu. How wondrous are your works, O God. That's what I'm teaching you. And in a Jewish school, they relate to that. They relate to the idea of I'm teaching them the beauty of God's world. And even though that we call it science, that's fine. But what the point I'm trying to make is when they walk in day 2 and day 4 and day 30 and day 60, I say, welcome back to another day of Marabu. And it sounds kind of corny, but they love it because it gives them a sense of, wow, this teacher really cares about this subject. And he cares about it in a way that I can care about it too. After they did the warm-up, and we talked about the warm-up, I'll hold up this. Now, I see everyone's paying really close attention to this. You're all studying it. Do you notice how I got your attention? I just held up this object and I got your attention. You all want to know what this is. I have 120 of these. This is a picture of a real person's brain done by advanced imaging in a lab in Boston. And what I did was, I have 120 of these, and I wrote on the back for the teacher a description at about a 8th grade level or so. And at the bottom, I made questions for like math, science, history, English. So the math question is, if you can have 70,000 thoughts per day, how many is that per minute? And give, that could be a little warm-up exercise. 50% of your students, if you do not write something on the board, they actually do not hear you. I'm not going to say, here's my rules. I'm going to say, here's how you are going to be successful in my class. I care about you being successful. It's my job is to help you succeed. You still have to do it. If you don't give them a specific way you want them to enter and leave class, or you do, but you don't enforce it, then they will do whatever they want to do. For example, the bell rings, they'll run out, even if you don't want them to leave when the bell rings. These are children, and some of them are intelligent. They're all intelligent. Some of them are just more focused, some are distracted. You don't want to lose anybody. Model it for them that first day. I recommend counting up instead of counting down. You know why? If you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you'll always have someone who's going to say blast off at the end. So I was sitting in the back of this classroom last year, and I was taking notes about everything I saw happen. So I did. I'm like a recorder, recording everything. And I see a couple boys walk in late. And there was absolutely no consequence of them walking in late. They just wandered in, started talking to friends, like in the middle of the class. Okay? And the teacher was doing nothing. And I talked to the teacher about this afterwards. I said, what was going on there? Like, how? He said, I know, it's a real problem. I said, it's a real problem, but you're the teacher. You're in control. It's your classroom. The idea that I'm holding you accountable. I'm here as your teacher. I'm here to help you, but you have to do the work. I'm not here to do the work for you. If you think so, you're in the wrong classroom. Here's 0, and here's 45. That's the period of time of your class today, 45 minutes. 45 minutes after the first bell, there's going to be another bell, and around that time, you're going to dismiss the class. So somehow, in that trajectory of time, I want not only for my students to accomplish this, I want to be able to know that they accomplished it. It's a lot to do in 45 minutes. What's going to have to happen? It's hard for me to believe it happened, but there are teachers who will make a phone call or take a phone call in class or check their messages. Or I was told by one of my children they had a teacher who actually ordered food, his lunch, in class on his phone. Now that might seem cute to you. It ain't cute. It destroys your appearance of professionalism. All he could do is oral, so I tested him orally. He knew the answers. He just could not write. It was I never encountered this as a 10th grader. This is how he was. I couldn't judge it and I couldn't fix it. All I could do is try to work with it to help make sure I did my job to get him that learning in. And he did it. He learned it, at least at a passing level.